Hello, folks. Welcome to the Genuinely Interested podcast. My name is Roy Bensi, and I'm your host. And this week we have Marie Ruumet. Again, I hope I'm saying that correctly, but I believe I am. Marie is a Muay Thai / MMA fighter, originally from Estonia, but she has been training in Thailand for the last 3 or 4 years. And she's pretty incredible, man. She, at age 16, she just decided to uproot her life, leave Estonia, and go full time to Thailand to train full time, to evolve as a fighter, and eventually become an MMA fighter. And she recently landed a contract with One, which is, for anyone who knows a little bit about MMA, it's the biggest organization in Asia, and some argue the biggest in the world as far as viewership goes, but definitely the biggest in Asia. So that's quite the accomplishment. And yeah, I had a great time talking to her. We actually tried, this was the third time we tried recording this podcast. Every time we had connectivity issues, internet issues, computers, there was just a lot of tech issues. And this time we got it. But at like the last maybe 30 seconds of the podcast, the electricity went out. So the internet went out and she wasn't able to kind of give her last few words of the podcast. And, I wanted to give her her social media account, which I will put in the show notes anyway. But you guys can find her on Instagram. It's Marie, Marie, Ruumet, Ruumet. She's a great up-and-coming fighter. I definitely think that you'll be hearing about her in the future. You can check her out on YouTube. She has fights there. And yeah, man, she's got some nasty elbows. She cut up this chick pretty bad in one of her fights. And, she has some bad intentions, as they say, which is what you need in the fight game. And, I love when people are all in. They're committed to their craft. And at such a young age, when everyone else is figuring out who they are and going out drinking and just doing teenager stuff, she's like, no, I'm going to go to Thailand, train at one of the hardest sports in the world, and dedicate myself to this, which, again, I think that's incredible. I wish that when I was that young, I knew what I wanted to do. I'm in my 30s now, and I'm still interested in so many different things. And I have a hard time dedicating myself to one craft completely. So it's amazing. She is definitely not like the rest of the people her age. And that's, I think, what makes her stand out. And that's why I was so interested in having a conversation and just learning a little bit more about her mindset, and about her future plans. So if you guys want to learn more about her, just listen to the podcast. We had a lot of fun talking MMA, talking Muay Thai, talking about Estonia. Actually, something that I wanted to bring up about Estonia that I actually didn't bring up in the podcast. There were some stats that I looked up on Estonia. So just bear with me for a few seconds, because I thought this was really interesting, and I think you guys will think that as well. So Estonia is the least religious country in the world. They have the biggest collection of folk songs in the world, something like 133,000 folk songs. Estonia has the highest number of meteorite craters per land area in the world. Almost 50% of the country is covered by forest. Fourth best air quality in the world. For every 100 females in Estonia, there are 84 men. And apparently they have a wife-carrying sport, which is extremely popular. Dude, I'm in. Sounds pretty amazing to me. But you can imagine that transition from Estonia to Thailand at the age of 17, not easy. So, and then on top of that, she's fluent in Thai within 2 or 3 years. So she really is very adaptable. And again, at such a young age, to do those things by herself, it's pretty amazing. I hope you enjoy this week's podcast. And here is Marie Ruumet.
The Genuinely Interested Podcast.
How you doing, Mary?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Is it Mary or Marie?
It's Marie.
Marie? Okay, now I
Yes.
know. How are you? We've been having technical difficulties. I think this is the hardest podcast I've ever tried to record.
Yeah, I thought it will be. Well, that's how things are in Thailand sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, I remember when I was there, I didn't even have a phone, so I
Oh,
just had to
damn.
go to one of those internet chat rooms, and
Mm.
or like to the guest house. They would usually have like a computer, and I would log in and just check my internet, my emails once in a while.
Oh, that
It was a
must have
different
been a
time.
long time ago, eh?
Yeah, I used to not like to take my phones when I used to go on like trips abroad. Um,
Mm.
I just felt like I didn't want anyone to reach me, and if I wanted to reach someone, I could just email them or I would call them, once a month or once every couple of weeks. Now it's so different. Right now we're like on everything, like we're sharing the pictures, and it's just even like it's so different from just even 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast everything has been going. But yeah, it actually sounds like a really nice idea going traveling without your phone.
It
Sounds like
was.
new for now, but back in the day, that was the norm.
It was. When I was traveling in South America, this was 2006, I think. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have anything. Once in like maybe a week or two, I would like go on into at the guest house. I would go on the internet. I just opened my first email at the time, and I'd shoot an email to some friends, family, and then that's it. I wouldn't, that's I didn't even have a digital. I had like I think it was a film camera. Yeah, it was a film camera,
Mm.
and yeah, I would just go around shooting a little bit. Like I didn't really, the phone wasn't a distraction like it is now.
Yeah, I really miss those times, to be honest. Sounds like a cliche, but I think like people are too stuck to their telephones for sure nowadays.
Oh, 100%. But I mean, you would be what, like 8 years old back then? You would
Yeah,
be very young.
2006, I was 6 years old.
So, all right, so let's talk a little bit about you. So, you're originally from Estonia.
Yeah.
And when did you move to Thailand?
So I moved to Thailand 2017 and I was 17 years old then.
Wow. And you moved by yourself?
Yeah, I came originally. I came to Thailand just for a fight camp for like 2 months with my friend,
Mhm.
and after that I went back for a month and then came back to live here. So I've been here for 3 years now.
Wow. And so, what's your visa situation like? Because I remember when I was there, you had to get like a special extension for 2 months, and because otherwise it's just 1 month. And then most people that I knew, they had to leave the country every month for like a day or two, and then they would come back, and then they would be doing this for like years.
Yeah, that's what I was doing when I first came here. Like I was doing border runs pretty much every 3 months.
Wow.
But right now I'm on a student visa. But yeah, before it was like much easier to do it because the laws were like not that tough. Because before you could do like unlimited amount of visa runs and they wouldn't really care. But right now they're like really starting to look into you like, are you really a tourist here? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of times where they won't let you enter with a tourist visa again. So I was afraid that they're gonna like catch on to me. So right now I'm on a student visa for 1 year.
Oh, nice. And when you left, where did you usually go? Like what countries?
I usually went to Laos. Sometimes I just did a border run at like Myanmar. I also went to Vietnam once. So yeah, it wasn't actually that bad doing visa runs. It's kind of fun actually. You get to see another
Yeah.
countries and stuff as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a shame that they won't let you do that anymore.
There's a place. I probably shouldn't say it because I don't exactly remember, but either in Laos or Vietnam, there's this place where you can go on like these little like donuts like in the water. The ones where
Mm.
you can just go on like this river, and there's like bars along the river where you can like grab drinks from, and you just go in on these like air donuts the whole way. You know what I'm
Oh, really?
talking about?
I've actually never heard of this.
Yeah, like all the people from the gym, I remember like whenever they used to do their visa runs, they used to tell me they used to go there, but I don't remember if it was in Vietnam or in Laos. My memory's not great, so probably shouldn't bring it up.
Oh, well, I should look into it. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, no, I saw pictures. It looks like a lot of fun. I wish I remember which country, but I'm sure you could Google it. So yeah, so I mean, you left very early at a very early age. I mean, how did your parents think about this when you brought the idea up to them?
Well, at first, they thought I was crazy, of course.
Yeah,
Even at first, when I just told them that I was gonna go on a training camp into Thailand, like before that, I've actually never traveled anywhere else in the world, So that was like my first trip to outside of Estonia, and it
really?
was so far as well. Yeah, and like my friend, she was 16 at the time, and I was 17, so they were really like afraid. But somehow I talked them into that. And another thing that helped was at a time I was like at a high school, but I didn't straight up tell them like, oh, I'm just gonna quit going to school. Like at first I switched schools and went to the grown up school, like where people go that are already working and they don't have really that much time for school.
Hmm.
So I told them that I'm still gonna like finish with my education. But when I came back from 2 months of train being in the training camp in Thailand, like during that 2 months, I had 4 fights and I made money from all of these fights. So when I came back home, then I told my parents like, hey, I really like it over there, and I can also make money just from
Yeah.
fighting, and that's my dream, and that's what I really, really want to do in this life. And because they just saw that when I came back to Estonia, I was just sad. I didn't like know what to do with myself anymore. I felt like I could be training and fighting right now. So I think they saw that I can take care of myself in a different country as well, and they saw that that's really my dream and that's what I want to do. So they didn't want to stop me, and they've been supporting me all the way, and I'm super grateful for that. So yeah, I think because they saw like my heart with this sport, that's why they let me to come here.
Yeah, because most 16-year-olds, they want to go hang out with friends, they want to go drink, they want to go do stupid shit, and you just decide to uproot your life, leave your friends, family, go to Thailand, and really focus on a sport. That's most 16-year-olds don't do that. I mean, where does that come from?
Yeah, I get that a lot. People are saying like, "Oh, you kind of like grew up fast or something."
Yeah,
But yeah, I
like an
guess
old
it's
soul.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I guess it's because even when I was a kid, I used to hang out with my neighbors a lot, and like the neighbor's kid, she was like 3 years older than me, 2 or 3 years, I can't really remember. But yeah, so her mindset was already older than me.
Hmm.
And as a kid, my father, like, he always loved to talk to me, like, just talk, like, for hours and hours. And I guess that's also where I got, like, most of my thinking from, like, to have such good, like, parent guiding me. I think that's what made me grow up faster.
And I mean, your dad or your mom, was anyone into martial arts? I mean, where did that love for the sport, where did it come from?
Yeah, it's funny actually because like no one from my family is into martial arts. And I pretty much discovered martial arts for myself when I was maybe 14 because I had a classmate who was really, really getting good at Muay Thai. And I saw him going to training camp in Thailand. And I thought, like, wow, that's so cool. That's something that I would really want to do. And at that time, I was also thinking, like, I don't really have any skills. I want to have like something that I'm good at. I had some classmates who've been doing football for like 6 years, someone who's been dancing for 4 years.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I don't have anything that I've done for so long. So I decided I'll go and see what's that Thai boxing about. And ever since the first class, I really fell in love with it. So yeah, that's how I got into it. I really have to thank my classmate for that.
And I mean, were there any female fighters at the time that you were looking up at? Is it like a Ronda Rousey or some, other MMA fighters or maybe some Muay Thai fighters? You're like, oh wow, like they're doing it, like I could do this as well.
Yeah, there was this one Estonian fighter actually. Her name is Andraho, and she was the Estonian top at that time. And I really liked watching like her interviews, watching her fight, and thinking that was really cool. First female fighter outside of Estonia. If it was Muay Thai, then that was Julie Kitchen. She actually started training when she was 21 years old, and in the end, she became 14-time world champion.
Wow.
So that was like, whoa! Even if I'm only 15, why can't I do it? You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I did look up to Ronda Rousey as well, as she was the highest paid female fighter at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think she really opened the doors to other female fighters. Doesn't matter if it's in whatever judo sport, MMA, Muay Thai, boxing. She was, I think, the first real superstar for any female combat athlete. So there's all these girls now in the UFC, and they're young. They're like 20, 21, 22. And they're saying the only reason I got into this is because of Ronda Rousey. Like I saw her and she inspired me, and then I started training. And then like the thing is, like, the girls now are so athletic. They're like 20, 21, 22-year-old girls that are fighting. And before, I think it used to be more like tough. You still need to be tough, but I think toughness was like the main thing, where now they're just so athletic. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, you could definitely say that Ronda Rousey was a pioneer when it
Yeah.
comes to female MMA.
Yeah. I mean, Gina Carano was another one, but I think Ronda was just that next level. So, I mean, you get to Thailand, and what is that transition like? I mean, Thailand and Estonia is it's as different as it can be. So, and the other day, I mean, I heard you speak Thai, so you got the language as well.
Yeah. At first, it was really difficult for me to fit in here, especially because originally I'm from like a small town. Like if I want to go to the forest, it takes me about 5 minutes, and I can just be
Wow.
at peace. And then I just suddenly moved into Chiang Mai, which for me is still a pretty big city.
Mhm.
So at first I was kind of sad. I felt like disconnected from everything, and I didn't have any friends really, because for me it is hard to make new friends. But yeah, I had a really good team around me, and after a couple of months, I started really getting along with people, and I also started to learn the language on my own right from the beginning. So, and now I have already mastered the language pretty much. So
Wow.
that has really, really helped me to get along with the locals, like make new friends and everything. So in the end, I wouldn't say it's been a bad transition at all, because the people here are so helpful. They're so friendly. It's truly amazing.
So a few things to unpack there. One, I'm just wondering why you said you don't make friends easily. You seem like a very outgoing, easy to talk to person. Like, why wouldn't you make friends easily? And then the other question is, how are there like, I wonder the faces of the Thai people when like this blonde girl comes up and she's fluent in Thai. Like, what's the reaction?
Yeah. Uh, at first, I would say I wasn't that outgoing before. The 3 years that I've been here have changed me a lot for sure. I've gained more confidence and everything. But before, I used to be really, really shy. I think you wouldn't even really recognize me back then when you compare it to me right now. And yeah, people are always really surprised when they hear me speak Thai.
Yeah.
I get a lot of questions like, "Oh, are you half Thai? Like, why do you speak so good Thai?"
I mean, you mastered at least three languages that I know. So you know Estonian, you know English, and you're fluent in Thai. So you're fluent in three languages or more.
Yeah, and yeah, just three languages now. I used to learn Germany at school, but I don't really remember anything because I haven't been using it. But right now, I'm waiting for the school to open, and I'm gonna go learn Chinese. So
Chinese. These are like, it's not like, it's not like you're Italian and you're learning Spanish and or Greek or whatever. It's like these languages are so difficult. Like Chinese and Thai, they're not easy languages. They're so completely different from everything, even the writing, right? Like I was in Japan
yeah,
earlier this year, and it's like, when I'm in France or Spain, somewhere in Europe, I can at least understand roughly what's written, right? I can get an idea. But here, everything's so foreign, like you just don't know what it says. You don't know how to read, how to write. So why do you go? Why Chinese? I'm interested.
Um, there's actually no reason, no other reason for me learning Chinese other than I need to get an education visa, and they offered
Okay.
me if I wanted to go learn Thai, but I'm already pretty good at Thai, so I thought like there's no point for me to learn Thai again. And another option was to learn Chinese, so I thought why not? Because I really enjoy learning new languages as well. I'm really intrigued by new languages and also the writings. I think it's so interesting to learn because I think a language tells so much about a culture that you can't really interpret in English.
100%. I
There's
always
this
said it. No, go ahead.
there's this really really good saying that I think it's so true. It goes like if you talk to a person in a foreign language, you talk to their brain, but if you talk to a person in their mother language, you talk to their heart. And I think it's so true.
That's good. Yeah, I always said if I had a superpower, I would like that superpower to be the knowledge of all languages. And
No.
because every time you go to a different country, there's such a barrier, right? Like you just can't connect with people fully, like, and it's frustrating. And you can't, I don't know, you just can't taste the best food. You can't connect with people. It makes everything so much harder. And
Yeah,
that's why I feel like when I go to new countries, I love when there's like someone local or someone that's been there before and they can show me the best spots or they can take me to places that I'm not going to be able to find on, on Google or whatever it is. So,
yeah, a local person life and a tourist life in a foreign country is totally a different experience for sure.
yeah. So, I mean, you said it originally when you got there, you were making a little bit of money. I'm wondering how much, were you making for the fight you were winning?
You mean in Phuket? I was making If it was a smaller stadium, I made only about 3,000 baht. But if it was a bigger stadium, I made 6 to 7,000 baht.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you can live for that money in Thailand.
Yeah, you can live for a few weeks with that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And you were training in Team Quest at the time, right? In up north.
Uh, my first months, I was down in Phuket. So then I
Okay.
was training at a Suwit gym. It's like a really, really small old school Muay Thai gym. And it was the cheapest gym at Phuket at that time. So that's why I also decided to go there. But it's actually a really good gym and the trainers down there are really nice.
Hmm. And then at what point did you go up to Chiang Mai?
After I went back home for a month, at home I was searching for gyms that would be interested in sponsoring me. And Team Quest at that time had a ad up in Facebook that said they're looking for fighters to sponsor. So yeah, after that I shoot them a message and asked them if they would be interested in sponsoring me. And yeah, after that I flew into Thailand. I had a 1 month trial. The trial went well, and after that I stayed at Team Quest for almost 3 years.
Well, so what do they look for in those trials when they do them?
They look for someone who's obviously training hard, but also someone who would get along with the team, would have good attitude, and who they saw potential in. I think that's what they were looking for.
And then did you start to get like amateur fights, or I mean, is it not amateur because in Thailand it pretty much goes to professional straight away? At what? How regular were you getting fights?
At first, I was strictly fighting Muay Thai. So at first, I was fighting, I think, twice a month. So my first year, I think I had the most fights there. But after that, I started getting into MMA, so I needed more time to train because my grappling was pretty much zero when I first came to Team Quest.
Yeah.
So at that time, I couldn't really fight that much. But yeah, I think I had about 30 fights altogether here in Thailand.
Wow. And I mean, I guess at what point did you decide to switch to MMA from Muay Thai?
I think it was 1 year into me training here.
Any particular reason?
Uh, I think just because Team Quest already had MMA training there, so it looked pretty interesting, and everyone kept telling me like there's so many more opportunities in MMA than Muay Thai right now. So I thought, why not give it a try?
And how did you like it initially? Did you like it as much as Muay Thai?
Yeah, at first the transition was hard for sure. It's weird to like come from a thing that you're getting pretty good at doing to
Yeah.
go into learning something totally new. But it was still fun, and it started getting like more enjoyable the more I did it. So yeah, in the end, felt pretty good.
Yeah, I tried a few BJJ classes last year because I trained Muay Thai at in Brooklyn, and my first class was a lot of fun, and then second class I had a guy that must have been probably close to 300 pounds, and I'm like 170, 180. And this guy was just laying on top of me. Dude, it was horrific. I couldn't get this guy off of me. And he was just like smushing my face the whole way and like trying to like break my arm off. And I was like, oh no, I need to like I loved it, but like I was like, I need to like train with guys like that are roughly my size. These guys are way too big.
Yeah, that's actually why I was afraid of MMA in the beginning because back when in Estonia, I actually did about almost a month of MMA training, and I mounted this guy who was yeah pretty much twice my size,
Yeah.
and he like rolled over my ankle when he tried to sweep me, and yeah I couldn't kick for over a month. My
Wow.
ankle was really bad after that, so I was kind of afraid of getting into MMA.
Yeah, they say that the white belts are the most dangerous because
Oh, for sure.
because they have something to prove, right? They want to show, oh, I'm strong, oh, I'm this and that, and they'll just ankle pick you and they'll just try to break your joints. Whereas the and I think this is true with Muay Thai as well. When like I don't spar with beginners just because they go so buck wild and they'll try to take your head off. Where someone who's more experienced, they'll just play touch and they're not there to take your head off. So I think there's a lot of similarities there.
Yeah, I think choosing who you train with is super important because yeah, I think a lot of beginners they don't even know how much strength they have, so they have no idea how to control it. So even though they don't actually want to go hard, they end up going hard anyway. So it's
Yeah,
better just to avoid them.
yeah, and it's almost like I understand it. It's almost like they're scared and they don't want to get hit, and so they're just trying to take your head off. Essentially, they're trying to kick as hard, or they're just not technical or strategic, and they'll hit you in places where they're not supposed to hit you, or yeah, it's just that's not good.
It feels awkward sparring with beginners for sure, but oh well, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, what's a day in the life in Thailand? How you wake up, what you go running, training, eating, how's the schedule?
Yeah, it's pretty generic. I think pretty much the same as for every fighter. You wake up, you go for a jog. After the jog, you have your morning training. After that, you go take a shower, have some food. In the afternoon, you just rest, maybe have a nap if you're lucky. Do whatever you have to do. Like for example, if I have a student visa, I have to go to school during during the afternoon,
Hmm.
and then in the evening, come back. If you have a fight coming up, then you'll usually have a afternoon run as well, and then have your afternoon training. And after that, shower again, have some food, sleep, and repeat in the morning. And just like that, 6 days a week, all year round.
Wow. Yeah. Do you have an air conditioner in your unit?
I have now. But I've lived here for over 2 years with no air conditioning, and even now I don't really use it. I think I'm pretty much used to the weather by now already.
Yeah. I didn't have an AC there. I was in Thailand, training in Thailand for like 2 months roughly, and I remember sometimes like I would just to cool down, like I would jump. There was a pool in the place, and I would just go there, jump in the pool just to cool down. And I also didn't have hot water, so like that would help. But like just no AC, just sometimes waking up and just sweat in the bed. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, at first the transition was hard for sure. I remember I used to fill up a bottle of water and put it into the freezer and then just hug it because it was so hot.
Yeah, I mean, it's again like it's so different from Estonia, right? Like weather, food, everything. There's just nothing is the same. How did you? I mean, the food
Yeah.
must be amazing, right? Like compared to, I don't know what the food is in Estonia is like, but Thailand is one of the best in the world, especially street food. It's so good.
Oh, you can't even compare it, man. In Estonia, I think I don't want to say anything bad about my country, of course, because we do
Yeah,
have good food, but mostly it's like not a lot of fresh food. We eat a lot of potatoes, a lot of meat, a lot of dairy. But out here, everything is just so fresh. And if you go
yeah,
to a food place, they're like cook it up fresh stuff right on the spot. But back home, it's just not. It doesn't have that spice.
yeah, yeah. I would imagine. I mean, Thailand, honestly, I've been to a lot of countries, but I think Thailand probably has. I don't know if the best food, but definitely the best street food. Like the street food is, you're not in danger of getting some food poisoning or some stomach problems. Like for the most part, I ate street food. Even when I was training, there would be like this little lady with a cart on the other side of the road, and we would go there, and she would make the food literally on the street on like a little block. She would cut up the chicken and the rice and whatever, and never had any issues. Like really, never had any problems. And I've been to South America, and when I ate street food there a few times, it was oof, it was bad. It was a completely different story.
Yeah, that's also what I really love about Thailand. There's food everywhere.
Yeah, and I saw you tried the some of the insects, some of the fried insects,
Oh yeah, and the scorpion.
the scorpion, and what else was it? Crickets or some other things.
Yeah, I think crickets, bamboo worms, and some other worms that I don't even remember what the name. I think
Sounds
silkworm.
delicious. Sounds delicious.
Yeah, they're definitely not something that that you would eat every day, but it's a snack for Thais, especially when they go out to like have a beer or something. Then it's a snack instead of like peanuts or chips or something. Not actually that bad.
Really? Like what is it? What is it similar to?
I don't even know. It tastes like popcorn, but it's like juicier popcorn
Hmm.
with weirder texture.
Juicier popcorn with weird texture. Interesting. Yeah, my friend tried it when I was there, but I don't. I psychologically, I could never put that in my mouth. It was too weird for me.
Oh well, just have to let them blindfold you and
No,
make
I'm,
it a
I'm
surprise.
I'm like I'm what do you call it? Like I'm a very vanilla eater. I don't go too crazy with food. For me it's just to like to be full and get energy and then go on. I'm not like one of those foodies that tries everything.
Mm. Oh, I'm all about trying stuff.
It's good. It's good. You have to have that. I mean, obviously you're there in Thailand, so you're someone that's open to new experiences, especially at your age. You're so young. Um, it's amazing. So how is Thailand now with COVID? Is everything back to normal? Or are they still like semi lockdown, or what's the situation? Can you train?
Yeah, everything you're allowed to train normally now, but like the Muay Thai stadiums are still not open. I think they're opening the bars and everything today, maybe. But yeah, pretty much everything is opening again. You still have to wear a mask. Like they won't let you into some convenience stores. They won't let you to go 7-Eleven if you're not wearing one.
Okay.
But there hasn't I haven't heard of any new cases, so it seems positive. I just hope they will open the stadium soon.
And can you train though?
Yeah, training is everything is back to normal.
Wow, that's amazing. Because here everything's pretty much still shut down in the U.S. Um, Definitely gyms are closed. Barber shops. I mean, I guess it depends on states, but most of the places, and it's weird. Like they'll have, let's say, restaurants. you can sit outside with no mask, but to walk to your table, you have to put on a mask. And then now I saw that they have people inside of a restaurant without a mask. But then Whole Foods, you have to wear a mask. There's all these weird rules. I don't know who makes them. They make no sense. But here in the US, the numbers are
Totally
just,
crazy.
it's crazy. Yeah, it is. It's here the US has completely lost its mind. It's you're better off in Thailand, trust me.
Yeah, I believe you. But even here, there are some weird rules that they are trying to make people to do, but people don't really, they don't go with the rules that much. So it's hopeful.
Yeah, here as well. Everyone. I think people are just sick of masks, of inconvenience, of being having to stay at home or having their gyms closed or whatever it is. People are just sick of everyone used to have a routine. They used to go to work, they used to go to gym, they used to go out with friends to bars, etc. Right now, none of that's happening. So I think people are starting to get really frustrated, and a lot of people lost their jobs as well. So there's some financial hardships that they're facing. So I hope 2021 will be better because 2020 kind of sucks right now.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad. People are definitely starting to lose their minds, and there's so much misinformation about the COVID stuff as well. You don't even know what to believe anymore.
So much, so much. So I mean, guess what are your plans for the future? Are you going to stay in Thailand? Are you going to go back to Estonia? I know you recently left Team Quest. You're looking for a new gym. What are the plans?
Yeah, for now, definitely I still want to stay in Thailand, and luckily I still have 9 months on my visa left.
Oh, nice.
So no plans on going back home anytime soon, to be honest. Even though the martial arts scene is definitely getting better in Estonia, it's
Really?
slowly growing. So I think if I do decide to go back someday, then I will have some options to train in the capital in Tallinn in Estonia as well. But as far as the gym goes, yeah, I recently left Team Quest, but now I'm helping my friends build a new gym. Actually, it's called the Bear Fight Club, and it's still here in Chiang Mai. And yeah, we're slowly building it. We've actually been really
Well,
busy every day building it, but it's going great, and I have big hopes for that gym as well.
physically building it, like you're actually building a location?
Yeah. Like yesterday we got the new poles where to put the bags,
Okay.
and today we paint the poles, and yeah, it's slowly coming together, putting the bags up and everything.
So it's the same. It's going to be Muay Thai, MMA, BJJ, all that good stuff.
Yeah, at first it's definitely gonna be only a Muay Thai gym. So for now, I'm just doing my grappling here and there, just moving around, which is actually pretty fun too because I get to see a lot of people and train with a lot of different people who I wouldn't have trained with normally. But yeah, we definitely hope to bring in Muay Thai, to bring in MMA someday as well.
So I saw a few of your fights on YouTube, and you seem. I mean, this is at least what you seem. I don't know what's going on the inside, but you seem always very calm, very loose. You're not stiff. You don't seem like you're really bothered. It's almost like just another day. Just another day at the office for you. And again, like because you're so young, where does that come from? And is that the truth? Is that really what you're feeling, or is that just like a facade that you're putting on?
No, I actually really enjoy fighting. That's like my happy place. That's my happy place to
Yeah.
be in the ring and to do what I love. And yeah, I actually get that a lot as well. People are telling me that I'm even too relaxed when I'm when I'm fighting. Like I have to turn it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just fun for me, and I really enjoy it. I enjoy the crowd. I enjoy trying out different techniques and everything. It's I wouldn't do anything else in the world.
You know who you remind me of a little bit? You know who Carolina I'm going to murder the name. Kavelkovich, I believe her name is. She's a UFC fighter from Poland.
I can't recall her, to be honest.
She's one of the top females. I believe she fights at 115. and she fought Joanna, and she's fought a few other big names, and but she's just so stoic. Like her face is just always the same. She doesn't like get hyped up. Like when Bruce Buffer announces her name, you can just see her like almost like she's bored. Like she's just standing there like super chill, not phased by anything. And you have also, I think, a little bit of that. I think it's maybe like you know you're the European slash Eastern European. They don't really get phased by much. It's a very strong mentality. Not that I'm
Yeah,
lumping all the countries together, but just generally speaking.
yeah, I think so for sure. It's a cold weather. People don't really smile that much. People don't show that emotion either.
Yeah,
But for me, it's also I'm always trying to stay calm as well. I think in everything in life you have to stay in the center. When you're happy, don't be too happy. I don't know if that makes sense. And if you're sad, don't get too sad. Like
yeah,
everything has to be balanced in life, and that's what I'm trying to do with fighting as well. I don't want to get too hyped up,
yeah,
because I think when you're too overboard, like things can go wrong. So so I'm also trying to keep that calm.
yeah. You're smart beyond your years, man. Like I always said that I think moderation is key. I think anything you do too much of can be bad for you. Even something basic like drinking water, right? It's extremely healthy. You should drink X amount of liters each day. But if you drink 40 liters each day, you're going to die, right? So even like something as good as water can literally kill you. So everything, you have to have moderation. You don't want to go overboard with stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's my friend actually taught me that lesson, and I'm really grateful for for her for teaching me that, because I think I've used it so much.
So your friend that you originally came to Thailand with, is she still there, or did she go back to Estonia?
She's back in Estonia right now.
So she stopped doing Muay Thai, or she does it back
She's
home?
still training, but yeah, now she's trying to get fights back home and
Mm.
in Europe.
Is that something you'd be interested in doing, going to Europe and fighting, some Muay Thai fights or some kickboxing fights, or
Yeah,
are you strictly MMA now?
no, I definitely still want to fight Muay Thai as well. I'm actually waiting for a Muay Thai promotion here in Thailand to give me news if I'm gonna fight this month or not. But for now, I'm gonna stay in Thailand because I have a contract with One Warrior Series, and
Yeah,
that's based in Asia. So it would make no sense for me to go and look for fights in Europe either right now. But that's definitely something that I am open to. So whatever the future brings, I'm down for everything pretty much.
that's awesome. So yeah, maybe tell us a little bit about the one contract. I mean, that's pretty awesome. It's one of the biggest organizations in the world. So they signed you on for MMA.
Yeah, they signed me for MMA at One Warrior Series, which yeah is like pretty much the ultimate fighter
Yeah,
of the UFC.
and how many fights do you have there?
My contract says I need to have 4 fights there, and after that they're gonna decide if I'm gonna go to the big league, one championship or not. So for now, I've only had 1 fight, which I unfortunately lost. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the next fights bring.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh, so wait, what weight do you fight at?
I fight at 52 kg, which is actually the lowest weight they have at one.
That's probably either 115 or 105, something like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think 115.
yeah, yeah. I actually saw that fight. I mean, I thought you did well. I thought you controlled the striking and you got better as the rounds went on. The only thing is she just held you up against the fence, and you really didn't have an answer for that. But outside of that, I thought you did very well. So it's not like you didn't get mauled, you didn't get anything. Like it was a good fight. It was a good fight.
Yeah, I think I have to get out of the Muay Thai mindset a little bit,
Yeah,
because in Muay Thai, like the first 2 rounds are really slow and easy pretty much, but
mhm,
MMA is like just go. So
yeah,
I have to get started quicker. And I also think I was too afraid of her wrestling. I could have I could have let her take game to the ground. I don't have to just stay standing up all the time because I have worked on my ground game a lot. So I think next time I'm just gonna try to go with the flow more than I did in my previous fight.
Are you you're what, a blue belt?
Yes.
Would you so I would how percentage wise do you allocate to Muay Thai versus BJJ? Like is it 60-40, 70-30, 50-50 as far as training?
For now, because BJJ gyms, they're only starting to open up now. So pretty much for the months that have passed, I haven't really gotten any grappling in at all. So right now it's pretty much 90% striking and maybe 10% ground game. But before the gyms closed, I think I was doing, I'd say about 50-50 actually. There was a time where I was doing maybe 70% grappling and only 30% striking as well. So I definitely have been working on it a lot, and I am actually excited to try out my grappling skills in the cage as well.
Yeah. I mean, what did you have any big takeaways from that fight after looking back on it?
Yeah, I think I have to be more explosive. I have to get started quicker, and yeah, just go with the flow more, I think.
Throw those elbows, man. Just throw the elbows.
Yeah, yeah.
You have one
That's
fight
a
where
good
you just
advice.
opened up this chick's face completely.
Yeah, that was, I actually felt bad because in the beginning he told me that for every cut that I would do, me and my opponent both would get 5,000 baht bonus.
Really?
But
They give
yeah, because
bonuses
that was,
for cuts?
yeah, yeah. 5,000 for each cut. So,
Only in
but that
Thailand.
was what, yeah, that's what they told me at Super Champ. But the next one I thought that was Muay Hardcore, but it was the same stadium, so I thought the rule would still apply for that fight. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, it didn't. So I cut her up for absolutely no reason. So I felt really bad.
Well, I mean, you won the fight, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, well, makes a good highlight reel at least.
Yeah, exactly. Is that something that you're working on? Because I know I was talking to I had MMA Shredded, who he fights in one as well, and he has a YouTube channel, which again MMA Shredded, and we talked about like how important it is as a young up and comer, and even like someone who's more has been in the game longer, how important it is to work on your social media, how important it is to work on YouTube channel, whatever it is that you have. And he has a very good like YouTube channel. He has like breakdowns and analytics and just tips on what to do. Is that something that you're actively working on or thinking of working on?
Yeah, I'm definitely right now. I'm trying to develop my Instagram, which has been going really well for me. Like I think you found me on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
So, so I think that's working out well for now. And I actually am thinking of opening a YouTube channel as well, just to show the life in Chiang Mai and everything. And yeah, I definitely think it's super important because there's a lot of opportunities you can get just from publicity, And even my sponsor right now, Booster Fight Gear, I think they also decided to sponsor me after they saw my following as well, because now their brand will reach out to more people as well.
Yeah, I think it's crucial. I think some fighters, maybe they don't care. They're like, no, I don't care. Fuck it. I just want to be a fighter. I don't want to focus on it. But it's self promotion. It's so important in whatever industry you're in. I don't care if you're a fighter or a ballet dancer or if you're a tech guy. You have to promote yourself, and especially fighters, because I think fighting is such it's obviously not a new sport, but it's got a very new following. Like the MMA is, I think, one of the most watched sports in the US. And I know Muay Thai obviously is probably the most watched sport in Thailand. But, in the US, that wasn't the case 10 years ago, 15 years ago. No one was watching MMA. So it's one of the youngest sports, and it's growing and growing. And if you're someone that can catapult yourself by, look at someone like Sean O'Malley. I don't know if you know him, but he's he's a relatively new fighter in the UFC. He's only got like 3 or 4 fights, but he's already got like 1 million followers. mean, that's huge for someone who only has 3 or 4 fights in the UFC. So he's young, he's tech savvy, he's social media savvy, and he knows how to use it to his advantage.
Yeah, definitely. And that will also raise your money making opportunities. Like if you look at Conor McGregor, why is he making so much money? Well, one, obviously because he's a savage, he's such a good fighter. But second is also because he knows how to sell himself. And I think that's so important in the game on this age. Like before you could just fight and do your thing and that's it. But nowadays the more people you can get to watch you, the more money you make and the better opportunities you get. So you pretty much have to do social media if you want to be real successful.
Yeah. But the problem with a lot of people, I think, is I see so many people try to. Conor McGregor works because he's Conor McGregor. That's the brand. He's amazing. He is what it is. He's charismatic. He's a good looking guy. He's ruthless in the cage. He knows how to talk. He's funny. But that's just who he is. He's not trying to be someone else. And then after Conor came, all of a sudden you see people dressing different, talking different, talking
Yeah.
about red panty night and 50 G's baby. And so many people are copying his style. And I think that's something that just doesn't work, man. Like you have to be authentic. Whoever you are doesn't matter. Just be you. And eventually that'll work for you. But if you try to be someone you're not, people see through it. It doesn't work.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody loves authenticity. I can't
Authenticity.
say that. Yeah, authenticity in the
Yeah.
end of the day. So yeah, people have been telling me as well. Just if I tell them like, oh, I'm nervous to do this or that, they always tell me just be yourself, and I think that has always worked out the best for me as well. So I think that's a really good advice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, those are the people that I gravitate towards usually, people who are authentic, even look at, again, like if you look at someone like Diaz, why do people like him? Because he is who he is and he doesn't give a fuck, right? I am who
Yeah,
I am. And I think that's the beautiful part of it. And I also think once you don't care what other people think, you're almost free. You know what I mean? Like, because otherwise you're going on the comments and you care what people say about you, and oh, do they like me? Maybe I should change something. And you should always be open to change, but you shouldn't change based on what other people think. You should change based on what you feel. If you feel like you need to grow and you need to evolve and develop, then you should definitely do that. But yeah, I just, again, like I appreciate authenticity.
yeah. There's also a difference between criticism and just people talking shit, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
So I think you really just have to choose the people who you take your advice from, and you'll be fine. And don't read the comments.
That's very true. I hear that from everyone. Do you listen to a lot of motivational videos? Like, is that something do you focus on the psychological aspect?
I wouldn't say I watch a lot of motivational videos nowadays, but I did used to watch a lot. I like watching Jordan Peterson,
He's good,
but
yeah.
nowadays, yeah, he's awesome. But nowadays, I really enjoy listening to podcasts as well. I listen to Joe Rogan pretty much every podcast that comes out. So
Yeah.
and there's a lot of motivational people who come there and they have really good bits that make me think about my life and what I should fix and start doing better. So that's pretty much all the motivation I need for now. And also I have a really good group of people around me every day who also guide me and tell me like new facts and everything. So
Do you see yourself sitting in that chair one day across from Joe Rogan?
that would that would be awesome. I hope so. I hope so.
I could see that. There's no reason why. I think you have all the tools necessary to become a top level fighter, and yeah, I don't see a reason why that wouldn't happen. It's time and work. You have to put the work in. What is it? Something like, I think the sentence is 80% of the job is just showing up.
Yeah. I think it's true. I'll just keep doing my best and I'll see where life takes me. I don't want to take myself too serious either. So just
Definitely.
go with the flow.
Yeah, I like that. I think, I talk to a lot of people from from many different countries, and I think that's something that people from abroad are different than people in the US. People abroad just don't take themselves too seriously. And here in the US, everyone takes themselves so seriously. And I just like it. It's so refreshing. It's just, dude, it's life, man. Just don't, we're all gonna be dead. Don't take yourself too seriously. It's
Yeah. It's so much stress that immediately goes off of your shoulders when you just don't take yourself too serious. Just let it go.
Yeah, I love that. So do you think, I mean, I know you don't have an end goal and you're just kind of flowing, but would a UFC contract be something that eventually you might be interested in, or are you happy with one? Because I mean, essentially, one is if you look at the numbers, I from what I hear, they're supposedly bigger. I haven't checked out the numbers, but obviously the population in Asia is massive, and it's the number one organization in Asia. So just numbers wise, it's bigger.
Yeah, I would say if I ever were to become the champion at one championship, that would also be enough for me. But UFC contract, man, if I had the chance, I wouldn't say no, But yeah, I'm not too serious about it. I just right now my goal is just to be an exciting fighter, just to put up fights that people actually enjoy watching. I think that would also be good for female combat sports as well, just to make people actually want to watch females fight.
Yeah. No, I think now people watch female fighters much more than even a year ago, even 5, 6, 7 years ago. They are getting better because initially, even like when Ronda was fighting, the girls she was fighting, I mean, they weren't very good, to be honest. Like it was. That's why I think she was murdering everyone because they just weren't high level. And now, oh my God, the girls that are fighting now are just such high level. They're unbelievable. So again, it's an evolution of the sport. I think they're just going to get better and better and better.
Yeah, for sure. Even if you look at Joanna's last fight for the belt, that was that
Oof,
was one of the craziest fights I've ever seen.
oof. I think that was that because everyone says like, well, not everyone, but I hear people say like the fight that just happened this weekend, Dustin Poirier versus Dan
Oh
Hooker. They were
yeah.
saying, oh, this is fight of the year, but and that was a great fight. But I mean, in my book, that Joanna Zheng Li fight was one of the best fights I've ever seen in my life. I mean, definitely fight of the
Yeah.
year.
Totally hats off to both ladies. They showed so much heart. It's crazy.
Dude, they're so tough. Like she had like another head growing out of her head, and she just kept going. Like just didn't stop. Like so tough, man. It's unbelievable. I don't think people understand how much these things hurt. Obviously, there's adrenaline involved, and maybe you're not feeling it, but like just go and like punch a wall, right?
Yeah.
You'll see how much that hurts, and then think about like not only punching people but getting punched and your shins and your teeth and your face and your ears and just everything's getting battered and you're not stopping. You're just going forward the whole time. It's a next level of toughness, man. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's pretty much stepping into a war,
It is.
especially at that high level.
Yeah. So I mean, did one give you any idea of? Because I know now with COVID, they probably don't know, but do you have a rough idea when your next fight might be?
Sadly, not. I know that the next One Warrior series will be on the 6th of August in Singapore as well. But I think right now they're also worried of people traveling around.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for fight news right now. They have been in contact with me. They asked me if I'm ready to fight, and they asked me for my Muay Thai record. So I'm not sure. Maybe they want me to fight Muay Thai, which I would also be really interested in.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. I'm really waiting for news right now as well. I mean, I've been training throughout this virus, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah, you're in shape.
Yeah, yeah, definitely in shape.
That's awesome. Yeah, I wish like I really want to train. I haven't trained in like 3 months. I've been
Yeah.
trying to like run and do something to keep active, but like I'm so far away from I'm not that far away, but pretty far away from New York, and here there's nothing open, and it kind of sucks. I really miss training.
Yeah, I believe so. For me, it was just because I always had a goal in mind. I always thought, all right, if the stadiums are open, I want to be the first one to fight. So
Yeah.
that was my goal this whole lockdown. So I was always like, I have to train, I have to get up, I have to go, I have to do something.
It's smart, man. And I think that's another thing people don't realize. It's like, I mean, this is obviously your job, and I think because as an entrepreneur, I feel the same. If if you have a job at 9 to 5, right? You have to wake up. There's someone waiting for you at the office. Someone's telling you what to do. But when you're a fighter, or again, like an entrepreneur, and you have to motivate yourself all the time. Like you have to tell yourself, okay, get up, okay, train, okay, run, okay, do this. There's no one else. Like it's all self motivation all the time. And I think that is just as hard as anything else.
Yeah, but I think in the end, uh, I don't remember who said it, but that's what I've applied to myself every time is that motivation is overrated and discipline is the real deal. Discipline is something that you really need,
You
because
have all the quotes, huh? You got all the quotes.
yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. Have you ever? I don't know if you've been there, but I saw this the other day, and I kind of felt bad that I didn't go when I was there. But you know that elephant sanctuary? I think it's like outside of Chiang Mai.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I've actually never been there myself.
No, you should go. It looks amazing if you have the opportunity. Because I mean, they save these bears from the tourist where the tourist goes on the elephants, and it's like just a really bad industry. So they save these elephants, and they just let them roam around in this large sanctuary, and they take care of them. And I forget where I saw it. I saw it on some show recently, but it looks like an amazing experience if you have the opportunity.
Yeah, I haven't actually gone around too much. I've been pretty much living in the gym full time. So even though I'm living here, I haven't really traveled that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I ever have free time, I'll definitely check it out.
Have you been to Pai?
Yeah, I've been there once actually. It was pretty cool. The ride there is pretty wild.
It's nice, no?
Yeah, it's nice. I think they said it's like 700 curves on the road to get there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was there a long time ago. I don't remember that. I just remember it was like very laid back, kind of like hippie-ish. Um, yeah, no, it was a fun. It was very different than the rest of Thailand. It was just completely different.
Yeah, I think even Chiang Mai is different than the rest of Thailand. I've been to Bangkok for my fights and I've trained in Phuket, like I said, but nothing just compares to Chiang Mai, in my opinion. Everything is so much slower, everything is more cooled down, and the people are so much nicer than elsewhere as well.
Yeah, I mean it's the biggest city in the north, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'd love to go to Thailand. What can I say? Maybe after lockdown is done. I was talking to a friend, and we were saying maybe next year we'll come to town. Maybe we'll come to what was it? What was
Yeah,
this?
the Bear Fight Club, you guys
The
should definitely come.
Bear
We'll
Fight
show
Club.
you around Chiang Mai as well if you were to ever come here.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. I mean, I definitely want to come back. Last time when I was training there, I trained in this like, I mean, it's a famous gym, Rumpo Gym. A lot of good fighters out of there, but it was just the overall experience was like kind of crappy. So next time, I definitely said either the north or the south in the islands. We'll see.
Yeah, the north is worth trying. If you're not that strict with beaches, then the north is the place for you.
Marie, I want to thank you so much for doing the podcast. I think we finally got it this time. We had good internet, good audio. I'm happy we were able to get it done.